and welcome back to Wicked Wands Tarot. My name is Carmen. Today we're going to do a pick a card reading. So I've got 3 different piles with 2 cards each from the Character Oracle. And you get to choose which pile is yours based on the item associated with it. So this is a watch from my uncle, but probably a reference to time, right? I'm actually just realizing this watch is literally still running and I didn't realize that. Okay. So that would be for pile 1. If, however, you might be a little bit more of a cat person, you might want to choose pile 2. But we also have this cute little foam rose, which might capture your attention more as well. So go ahead and choose 1, 2, or 3, and I'll be sure to add some timestamps for you so you can skip ahead if you choose something other than 1. Otherwise, let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And we're going to set aside pile 2 and pile 3. And we'll dive in on pile 1, which is the watch, by the way. Okay, well, this makes sense. So we have the young card, vitality, innovation, potential, and growth. And then we also have the gambler card. Risk taker of fate, speculation, addiction, debt, and fortune. So we have somebody who is quite willing to, I don't know, see what happens, even if people are thinking that's not the right thing for you to do, or that seems like it could end poorly. They're going to take the risk. They're going to, start their own business or go parasailing, whatever it might be. This person doesn't seem to have a lot of fear or things that hold them back. We've got the Wheel of Fortune, the Hanged Man in the reverse and the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. This is somebody who may have taken a risk that they shouldn't have, though. Maybe they've had quite the reputation for being able to avoid consequences in the past, but it looks like their reckless behavior has caught up with them. We have the Knight of Wands in the reverse and the Hermit in the reverse. You knew better. You probably shouldn't have done that anyways. And here we are having to deal with a decision because you made the wrong decision. So we could have somebody who has kind of put at risk a business of theirs by not making the best partnership or contractual decisions. We could have somebody who is dealing with an argument with their partner because they continue to invest in hobbies that are considered dangerous, even if they've started a family or if they're planning a wedding or whatever. There's something here where it's like, I don't care. Like, I like doing those things that other people think that I shouldn't do. 6 of Cups in the reverse, the Empress, and the Lovers. So we have someone who's basically getting defensive and wondering how they should handle a connection because it seems like one person is very clear on, if I were in that situation, I would not do that. And the person, the gambler here, is very willing to go to the mat and defend their decision to be able to do that. It's my choice, and that's what I want to invest in, so that's what I'm going to do. This could be like a mother and a child, since we do have the Empress coming through. It could be adult child, right? But it could also be between married partners or people who live together, who have children together. It's this, why can't you choose a little bit of a safer path now that you know there's things that you need to defend or things that could go wrong. We have the Magician, the King of Wands in the reverse, the Queen of Swords, and the 2 of Cups in the reverse. So this feels to me like someone realizing maybe you're just an adrenaline junkie. Maybe you're not interested in changing anything with regards to your life decisions in order to accommodate for how your life has changed, or the fact that you are, maturing, or your business has changed, or you have a kid now. This is someone who's looking at the situation and realizing to love you is to appreciate that you're probably never going to change those wild ways. Kind of like Brad Pitt's character in Legends of the Fall. This is like, what was her name? I think it was Susanna, watching him from afar, just kind of like, what else was I supposed to do? I couldn't have really changed anything like that, right? All right, let's get a few from, we're going to go with what's the news. What else do we need to know with pile 1 and this magician? What else do we need to know? New boo, new love, learning each other, flirtations, harmony, balance, peace, happiness, and paranoid, cautious, insecure, and guarded. So look, I think this is a sweet connection. I think there is love brewing between these two, or there is a like revitalized commitment to each other. But in order for there to be harmony, there needs to be some sort of compromise here, because we have one person who seems to really like to do things that are scary and another person who's like, oh my gosh, don't do that, you'll hurt yourself. So it's causing some stress, but it's also difficult to rein in this magician who really likes to make their own decisions. The thing is, they're really only thinking about themselves. They're not considering how this impacts their family, or, you know, what would happen if you weren't able to make it out of that situation. What then? We could have somebody who is a bit of a party animal. Now I'm picturing the dudes from MTV. I know them as CKY, but yeah. So, heart to heart, time to have a chat about this person's behaviors. If you're still, you know, 100% committed to wanting to take these risks and you're not willing to change your life, then I might have to consider, or like reconsider, how I'm going to interact with you, or whether or not I can really have you in my life. This is the Earth and Bone Oracle. What else do we have? Migration and Blood Moon. Initiate, beginnings, freedom, adventure, first step, and illusion, uncertainty, confusion, secrets, egotism, and narcissism. If this is someone who can only make decisions based on what it like feels good to them, and they can't really you know, think ahead and realize this could be problematic for you or problematic for if you have a family, I think you're getting to the point where you're like, well, I don't know how much I can really depend on this person. And if I can't depend upon them to at least anticipate what could be problematic for the people that they care about, that's kind of self-absorbed energy, and I don't know if I can really build something with a person like that. I don't know that I could ever really expect to feel supported by this person when it seems like my concerns are not taken seriously, or my voice just kind of gets invalidated when I bring up these things that I'm concerned about. So it's time to have a chat. It's time to see where this person really lies, or like how they really feel. Because maybe for some of you, this person's going to be like, okay, it's time to change. But I feel like this is someone who's pretty stubborn. All right, let's move on to the second pile, or the black cat. We've got mother, selfless love, nurturer, source of life, maternal patience, and comforter. And driver, navigator of journeys, steering, safe passage, and welcome. So it feels to me like we have some protective energy here for you, pile 2. Someone who's wanting to make sure that you get where you need to go safely. Someone who's maybe praying, you know, trying to have a positive influence on your travels. So let's go with the Tattoo Tarot. What else does pile 2 need to know about this selfless love? King of Pentacles in the reverse. Ace of Cups. 6 of Cups. And the King of Swords. So this feels to me like someone is trying to like be those bumpers in a bowling alley that make sure that you have an increased chance of hitting the bowling pins. This is somebody who's trying to make sure that you meet this love of your life. Maybe for some of you, you recently have. Maybe for some of you, you're going to be a little creeped out by this, but I think this is somebody who is not alive, somebody who has passed on, somebody who watches over you. It could be a mother type figure. But more importantly, what I'm focused on is this is selfless love. This is somebody who's watching you and wanting you to be with a decent sort, somebody that you can rely on. But they feel like there is this block or this resistance, maybe even just like a lack of prioritization. You're not trying to put yourself out there. You're not looking to meet some new people. So I feel like we have somebody who's like, okay, I'm picturing leaf blowing in my mind. You have to like kind of guide the leaves with obviously the air, right? Someone's trying to do this with like the love of your life and make sure that you meet this person or make sure that you, are still open to love. So we have the Devil, the Ten of Cups in the reverse, the Eight of Cups, and the Hermit in the reverse. The concern here that someone has, whoever this is, that cares about you deeply and has this selfless love towards you, they feel like you're doing something wrong. They're like, hey, you, why are you doing it that way? Maybe it's because you've been a little bit of a hermit. Maybe it's because you've been a little bit reclusive. The Hermit in the reverse can talk about somebody who is a bit lonely or doesn't have the support system or the social connections that would benefit them. And the Ten of Cups being in the reverse, this is like someone who cares about you feels like you are in the wrong place or you do not have the right people around you and that you deserve to have that support system. King of Cups, Five of Swords in the reverse, Star in the reverse, and the Four of Swords. Yeah, this is someone who wants you to experience unconditional love, wants you to have that kind of connection that helps you to realize just how much you're capable of doing or just how far you've come after some difficult experiences in love. But this is someone who feels like you've healed what you need to or you're almost there, right? Emperor in the reverse. But they're like, why are you doing this? You're not making it easy for anybody to meet you. You're like spending all your time by yourself or, with your friends who are already in relationships. They're like, how do you expect to meet somebody when no one can see you out and about and see how cute you are? That's someone's actual grammar. That's not how I talk. This is like, you got to be able to actually put yourself out there or like be able to encounter new people in order to meet this love. And maybe it's like the selfless love person is like trying to encourage you out of the house, right? You got to be able to meet people is the recurring theme here. All right, so this is the situations deck. What else do we have for pile 2, please? What else do we have for pile 2? Denial, not facing truth, irrational reasoning, and searching. It's okay, I'm on a dating app. That's all I need, right? This is someone who's saying, no, you're not going to meet the person that you're meant to be with on a dating app. This is someone saying you need to get out and like spend time with people. Now, maybe it's a little tweaked for some of you and it's you need to like, if you're interested in someone that you're talking to, then you need to actually meet them in person. You can't just keep everything to flirtation in the DMs. There's a fear that everyone you encounter in a romantic sense is going to be a drama queen, or maybe they're just in it for the physical intimacy, but there's a surprise here. And this is somebody who's healed. I feel like this is that family member sending you this love interest. Sensing that you're a little bit anxious about falling in love, or even sensing that you're a little bit lonely. This is someone who wants to make sure that you actually get that happy relationship. So there's someone that you may talk to today or in the very near future, and this person's put on your path or put in your, environment, in your area, because someone thinks the two of you would be very happy together as a couple. And I don't know, they might be right. It sure does seem like this is somebody who is different from the people that you've dealt with in the past romantically. Tell me more about this love interest. Who is this interview person? Three of Cups in the reverse. Three of Swords. Two of Cups in the reverse. Well, that's interesting. Okay. So this is somebody who's been cheated on. This is someone who has not been dating since a breakup because it was a pretty painful situation to go through. I do feel like it was someone they knew that was the third party. So it could have been they lost a friend and a partner at the same time. So we have someone who has been a bit of a hermit themselves. You guys, look at that. Right as I said, hermit. So you both are a hermit. You both are coming out of that era or that period of your life. And yes, it might be a little bit difficult, or you might have to kind of adjust. I feel like these are two people that are trying to kind of like shake it off and get back into that romantic energy after being very much so just like on their own. Three of Wands, Six of Pentacles. So this is like, yes, if you are feeling emotions here, if you are interested in somebody, and even if you are just a little bit nervous about whether or not those feelings are returned, keep in mind that there is a pretty good chance that this person has been put on your path or in your area by someone who's looking out for you and wants you to have the type of relationship where you do feel like you're splitting things with this person. You're a true partnership instead of just someone who's codependent or expecting you to do everything, right? All right, let's move to pile 3, which was, sorry, I dropped it, which was the cute little foam flower, the rose that we have. What do we have for pile 3? We have Soldier and Avenger, Guardian of Nations, Loyalty, Honor, Integrity, Selfless Service, and Memory, Resolve, Hatred, and Plotter. So it does feel like we have a little bit of a battle going on here. Someone who wants to defend something that's important to them. It could just be their home. It could be someone who has integrity in a business where others are really just thinking about the bottom line. But we have someone feeling like they're going to potentially get challenged or stopped by this soldier or person with honor. So we could have kind of like some desperate actions happening here. All right, this is the Bianco Nero. What else do we have for pile 3? Let me just move these over a little bit too. So we've got the Page of Swords, the Queen of Wands in the reverse, and the Ten of Cups in the reverse. So there's someone here who feels like they have to defend their property or defend their territory. This could be, like I said, a work-related reading where you have to defend the work that you've done, managing the accounts you were assigned, or leading the department that you're the director of. There's something here where someone wants you to feel like out of place or like this isn't where you're supposed to be. We have the Three of Pentacles in reverse, someone who could be trying to get you fired, or someone who feels like they deserve to get paid more than you. It just feels to me like there's someone trying to like attack what you've said you're capable of doing, or attack the accomplishments that you've made. We've got the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse and the Sun in the reverse. This is someone who feels like they can mislead or kind of like misdirect. Like, here, everybody look at this information or this chart, but don't look over here because this is where you would see that whatever I'm arguing is actually wrong. They're like omitting or withholding information to tailor the conversation to what they want it to say. This is like someone who feels like they have to compare themselves to you, or that maybe you are competing for the same promotion or same title, maybe for the same person, right? This could be a romantic rival, but we have someone who's not really being very kind to you and trying to pick apart whatever people may know or think about you. This is the Tarot of the Nile. What else do we have for pile 3, please? What else do we have for pile 3? The 2 of Pentacles, the 2 of Wands, 5 of Wands in the reverse, the Lovers, and the Hermit in the reverse. Yeah, this feels to me like someone who's trying to make it seem like you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're talking about, you're not the expert that everyone thinks, you don't follow the directions, or, you know, someone else could do it better. I do think this is someone who feels in some way that they are, like, they're competing with you. They have to convince people that they're better at this or smarter at that, or that you lied about some certification or skill set that you have. They're hoping to undermine how people see you so that they can more easily get what it is that they want. We've got the 10 of Swords. They're willing to say whatever it takes. Empress in the reverse, to try to make sure that you look like the kind of person that has kind of like faked it, doesn't really have the skills or the understanding or the experience that's listed on your resume. This is someone who wants you to not be taken seriously or not be believed. Be seen as someone who's lying about what they can do, someone who might be charming but not be able to follow through. But the thing is there's like data here to support that they're wrong. Basically to contradict whatever this person is trying to say you can't do or you lied about. It's clear that they are making this up, or that they just have like a personal vendetta against you. So I feel like it's a short-lived battle, because someone has leveraged things that they knew to be false, or leveraged things that they knew were exaggerated. It's not really landing the way that it should, and people aren't believing it the way that they had hoped people would. So let's get a few from the Kipper. What else do we have for pile 3, please? What else do we have for pile 3? We've got the Child, Adjudication, Community, and Toil and Labor. So someone is trying to criticize a new leader or someone who's implementing a new process, trying to say that you are naive or that you are not experienced in something, and get a person of authority to basically say that you're fired or you can't do this anymore. But you have the support of more than one person. There are people who have seen the good work that you do, or the fact that you have integrity. So I feel like there's at least one person who speaks up on your behalf and contradicts what this jealous person or competitive person is trying to say about you, which really just kind of makes this person talking about you look pretty vindictive, or maybe even jealous. Yeah. So we've got this person who's like, no, I've never had any problems with that employee, or there's never been any issues as far as like following directions or doing things the right way. So if you're thinking about hiring that person, then my vote would be absolutely go for it. The person who's trying to make them sound bad is probably lying, because they're the exact opposite of what my experience has been with this person. I have seen them to be a good worker. So whoever it is at work that doesn't like you, I don't think they're going to have much in the way of support. I don't think people believe them. And if it goes to HR, or if the owner of the company is trying to make a decision, I feel like there's people here who speak up on your behalf and make it so that you don't have as much risk to your career as this jealous person would have tried to go for. What else do we have? Success in your undertakings this year. carry through with your intentions and you will be happy. And you worry over small matters. Make sure that anxiety is only unleashed for the situations that actually call for it. Things are going to go better than planned over the next several months, but it's kind of dependent upon you being open to that going well. So don't do the negative thinking thing as much as you can, okay? All right, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next reading. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes.